All right, everybody. Welcome back. Brand new Take Aim podcast. Excited to get the show out and recap what we did last weekend up at Boyne at the Total Archery Challenge. Before we get into that, guys, I just wanted to give you a heads up that HuntStand is doing an awesome giveaway with Leupold, Summer Smash giveaway, optics, adventure hog hunt, the whole 9 yards. But you're looking at binos, a spotting scope, some Leupold sunnies, as I like to call them, or some sweet shades, and a rifle scope. So make sure to check that out. You can find that on HuntStand's Instagram and follow the link to the profile and fill out the form. That's it. It's pretty simple, but hope you guys enjoy the show. We'll see you guys again real soon. As always, deer season never ends. Let's go. As I was saying, wanted to kind of recap what we did at Boyne and just some of the things we learned, some of the things I would do again or vice versa wouldn't do. But me and Shawn Kelly headed up there, stayed the night before, which was really nice. Kind of got to walk around and see what was going on. And, woke up early, got out, and basically walked around what I would call like the expo portion or the outdoor vendor section, which was really cool. Didn't get to see much of it because we still had to, even though we were pre-registered, we still had to kind of like check in, and basically you get your lift ticket. That lift ticket gets you onto the course. It also gets you up the gondola, so to speak, to get through majority of the courses. I think 4 of the 5 courses were over that way. But we started out with the Sitka course, and before I jump to the Sitka course, let me back up and just say, if you're interested in doing TAC next year, make sure to get on the email list or to find out as soon as you can when the events are for next year. And as soon as it opens to register, make sure you register. There's a bunch of people there that were saying that they couldn't, it was hard to get times, or this was the time they got just based on registration. So it books really fast is basically what I'm saying. And there's people that I'm sure this happened to that basically just, it was full and probably couldn't attend to Total Archery Challenge. But, so just food for thought. As soon as it comes out, do not wait around and register. So, that is pretty special. So anyways, with that being said, me and Shawn hit up the Sitka course first. That was the only course that we did not have to take the ski lift up to. You actually, off to the side, caught a shuttle, and they took you down the road. I'm going to say like a mile, very short ride, and then started that course. And that course out of the 5, I would say, not including the knock-on course, because that was the only course out of the 5 we did not get to shoot. But out of the 4, that was the longest one. It clocked in at, I heard, 5.1 miles. So that's a good poke, especially when it's hot out and you have all your gear. But that course was extremely long. And not just long like 5.1 miles, but target-wise, it was extremely long. A lot of shots were 50 to 110 yards. Or about 107 yards, I should say. A lot of targets at 70, 80, 90. We had a caribou kind of out in the wide open at 100 yards. We had a mountain goat that was tucked in behind some cedar bushes, kind of over some elevation, and that was at 93 yards. So, we had some really far shots at that one, and it was really challenging. But I will say, as soon as we did that course, it made the rest of the courses almost easy because they were so far. So that day as well, I had worn my hawk and bino harness. Shawn wore a bino harness. And I noticed throughout the day I wasn't checking arrows as much as like some of the other guys are just very, let's say, advantageous of checking arrows after people shot. Especially my first time up at Boyne, it was kind of a group thing to me, meeting guys that we had shot with and spent some time just talking, and I just wasn't interested. Either I hit it or I didn't, and that's how I felt about it, so I wasn't checking so much with my binos. I will say it was great preparation to kind of get in the mode to start ranging and using that rangefinder and doing that. But with that being said, just with the magnification of the rangefinder, I noticed myself not using the binos as much. So, that's one of those things, between a backpack and a bino harness, it's kind of a lot of gear for it being 80-something degrees, 84 degrees, hot and humid, and you're soaking wet. So that was one thing that I thought, isn't a necessity. It's nice to have, but I don't know if I would do it again with the bino harness strapped to my chest like that. Did not interfere with, my energy level or shooting the course or anything like that, or shooting my bow. It was more of just was it needed? I don't know. I did do versus some people did the hip quiver or the belt, quiver with the 3 tubes around your waist. I did basically a backpack, and I'll be the first to admit that I had so many people tell me, you're going to lose a lot of arrows, take a lot of arrows. I overtook way too many arrows. I think I brought 18 with me, and it was just too much. I didn't need that, but you definitely can lose arrows. There was times where we shot and we're maybe a yard low, and you would just shoot right under the belly of something. And luckily for me, we just, 3 or 4 times ended up finding my arrows, and it wasn't a big deal. But there was a lot of targets where there was stuff in the way, and I have pictures of, man, it's crazy, of just arrows everywhere. There's arrows in the woods, arrow in tree limbs, tree branches, or if a target was tucked right to the base of a tree, that base of the tree was just full of arrows. So it definitely is one of those things where you could lose a bunch of arrows. Just lucky for me, I packed them all and didn't need them, but knock on wood, maybe next time I will. But super interesting. Just the length of the Sitka course was just a wake-up call, and kind of whoa, welcome to Total Archery Challenge. That's what you're getting today. Being said, we knocked out the Sitka course, and I'm not going to lie, sometimes you're just backed up, sometimes you're waiting on guys. I don't know what that took me and Shawn, maybe close to 3 hours to knock that out. We went back, I think got a water and a banana, and got right back in line and went to shoot the Yeti course. The Yeti course was a lot of fun. A lot, I would say, closer targets. I would say 50 to 70 was the max range. Some at 40, but a lot more at that 40 and 50 yard range than previously at Sitka. And it did have a lot more elevation to it, so you were shooting up, you were shooting down a lot more, and a lot more of that type of hiking. The Sitka course was a little more long and drawn out, and not so much elevation. So that was interesting to see, but that was a really fun course. We met a really cool guy on that course as well, who'd been hunting for years, and found out that guy had been all over and done mountain goat hunting and sheep hunting, bow hunting. I mean, this guy was just as hardcore Michigander bow hunter as you could get, so that was really cool to, spend probably half of the Yeti course by the time we ended up, meeting him. So some people shoot at different speeds and different paces, so you got to bring your patience, and sometimes unexpected things happen, Knock on, or Dudley posted this, but there was a dude, I didn't get his name, but the dude literally wore foam on the bottom of his feet. I won't even call it a flip-flop. Dudley called it G-string flip-flops. It was foam on the bottom of this dude's feet with string through his toe, around his ankle, back to his toe. This dude literally ran the course, and I don't know what target me and Shawn were on, where the guy ran up to us and was like, "Can I shoot through?" He shot with us, grabbed his arrow, and ran in the next one. Now, I live my life fitness-wise, day-to-day, workout daily, and I was kind of man, this is a great challenge, and just kind of wanted to go through, not in a hurry or not wanting to use it as a advanced type of workout scenario and training or anything like that, but to each his own. The guy literally sprinted 3 days of that course. It was insane. So, like I said, you kind of got to bring your patience, because sometimes you could be waiting, or sometimes you could have a guy literally run up on you and say, "Can I shoot through?" Just as crazy as it gets. But that dude was, he was shredded. He was a beast, and literally we ran into him again, me and Shawn, on the last day, and we were done, literally done, and we were leaving. Me and Shawn had quite a walk to get back down in the village, and he, in these freaking foam sandals, ran right by us, feet exposed, dirt up to his knees, covered in dirt and sand, like the northern Michigan sand, and ran all the way down there, which had to be another half mile to a 3/4 mile walk. Literally ran in those foam sandals. Insane. But anyways, we elected to do 2 courses a day. So Friday we did 2. We did the Sitka and then did the Yeti. Like I said, the Yeti was a lot of fun, a lot of elevation. So you kind of got a feel of shooting at a lot of different angles, which I really liked, and that was a lot of fun. The next day, we ended up shooting Leupold, and we got the same knock on time with 2 guys that drove up from Cincinnati, Eric and Ryan. And me and Shawn had a great time getting to meet those guys. And one cool thing about TAC, and I'm sure a lot of other guys that have, got to shoot at TAC have experienced this, but you meet guys that you probably will be in touch with for a very long time. And Eric and Ryan were super cool, avid hunters, and you could tell they were just, thrilled to be there, good archers, and it was just a lot of fun to hang out with those guys. We had a riot, and like I said, I'm sure we'll be friends for a while, which is really cool, and have already been in touch with those guys. So that is one awesome thing about TAC, is you never know who you're going to meet and who you can end up being lifelong friends with, which I think is just a great experience. So with that said, the Leupold course itself I thought was kind of in between, let's call it the Yeti and the Sitka course. It was a little bit longer, not nearly as shooting-wise longer, some of the targets, but not nearly as long as Sitka, but a very fun course. Like, we had a really good time with that one. A lot of challenging shots, some that kind of scratched our heads, like, how are we going to make the shot? Or how, hopefully that arrow dips right in there. So a bunch of that stuff going on, which was really neat. So after we shot that one back-to-back, we ended up doing Prime. And Prime was another longer course. It was a few miles every bit. I think me and Shawn got off the lift. You don't go very far, maybe 150 yards. We shot the first target, which was 83 yards at a gator over a pond. We shot that, and I bet you we had a 1/4 mile to a 1/3 of a mile walk to the second target of the Prime course. So that was a ways. So I had some guys ask me, like, how'd you feel today? What'd you think of the course? So some guys were kind of like feeling it and feeling, the distance, the length, and some of the physical activity. So one of the things I would say is, by all means, man, work out. Like, it's a little bit harder to do 2 in a day than obviously 1. But if you are going to go with 1 course a day, which is absolutely fine, still work out, still do it, because it just makes it more enjoyable, because there is a lot of work. You're moving all your hunting gear, you're moving your body, and TAC sets this course up. There's no golf cart pass. There's none of that. There's no hiking trails. There's no biking trails. You are literally walking up and over fallen trees, through the bush, through loose gravel, through drainages that have been washed away. Like, you're doing everything you would in a hunting situation, and kudos to TAC, because they didn't do anything to make it easy on anybody. So you had to be kind of ready for that. So just a word of advice there, like, take your time, get your gear ready, shoot your bow early, shoot your bow at distance, and, do some physical prep. That was key. I think the physical prep will keep your mind sharp throughout the day in shooting all those targets. And, like I said, that was huge. We could easily see some of the people that were struggling and some that weren't. And I will be the first one to say, I'm like not going to, sugarcoat it. It was all based on physical activity and what somebody does in the off season to their body and training. So keep up on that part of it. But Prime was a long course. It was fun. I don't know. When I think about it now, it was every bit, I would say, as far as Sitka was. It was every bit of a 5-mile course, if not 6 miles. It was far. We had a long I'm not really including the walk back to the village, and I probably should, but like I said, it was every bit of a half mile, if not more. So, back-to-back days, we knocked out 4 courses. That's a lot of calorie burn, no doubt. But we had a really good time. The first night there was some awesome music. Black Rifle Coffee Company put on an event, and it was just cool. You could get some drinks. They had a cash bar. They had somebody playing music, and it was just a lot of fun, and everybody kind of just hung out. The next night, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation put on a little event, drew some raffle tickets, and John Dudley spoke for about maybe a solid 20 minutes, if not maybe 30. But a very good time, and I will say I'm just ready to go back. It was fun. It's something I want to do now every year. And everything from, they have a great practice course. They had a lot of great vendors, a lot of people I knew there. So, just everything was really cool. Even the people I knew that were working just said what a great event it was. And people were there and just supporting it. Their booths were doing well. People were spending money, which is always great because we can't have these events without people like us throwing something back. So, with all of that being said, I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait to be a little bit better than I was this year at it. And that's it, guys. So I hope you guys enjoy. It was a great time, and we have a really cool show coming up in the next week or two. I can't wait to get that out. We've just been working on some scheduling stuff, but we're close to getting it done. And hope you guys enjoy the show. As always, deer season never ends, and we'll see you guys again next week.